Hello, stat leads. Welcome to A9. Treat this like a quiz on chapter 10 so far. So we're going to look at the differences between confidence intervals and hypothesis tests. Take a moment to do slide 1 right now. Give it your best shot. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. Do it now. And you're back. Let's take a look. We would make a confidence interval when we want to estimate a parameter. For instance, we're trying to estimate the true proportion of voters, of all registered voters for a certain candidate, or when you want to estimate the true mean for a particular population. We would do a hypothesis test when we want to test a claim. We have some suspicion. Our suspicion is H sub A, the alternative hypothesis, and we're testing our claim against the null hypothesis, which is the status quo. The p-value is the probability of getting a sample result like we did, or more extreme in the direction of the alternative, assuming the null is true by chance variation alone from sample to sample. It tells us whether or not we should reject the status quo and support our claim. So there it is. It is really important that you understand what a p-value does for us, that a p-value is calculated based on a single sample result, assuming the null hypothesis is true, and it's based on sampling distributions. What is likely or not likely to happen by chance variation alone from sample to sample. That's why chapter 9 was so important. Okay, slide 2. Let me make sure I'm getting to the blank slide 2. Here we go. So this one, we're going to run on our calculator. If you're feeling confident with running hypothesis tests on your calculator, take a moment, do it now. And I will also do it with you. Okay, so let me see if I can just arrange my screen a little bit better. We're going to run a hypothesis test. It's about means. You should be able to see that it's one-tailed right by the alternative claim. There is no storyline here. If there was storyline given with problem 4, you would have to incorporate it into any replies for a short answer or free response. Of course, not for, well, possibly for a multiple choice. You have to look for the right storyline and the right storyline used correctly. Okay, so we go to stat, left to test, and this is a one sample Z test. So not a proportion Z test, but it's about means. So that's simply choice 1. If your calculator starts off in data, we don't have data in a list like one of our homework problems or like one of your post-AP projects if you choose to do a test about a mean score. So go over to stats if you weren't already. Mu naught is the null hypothesis mean, so we match already. Sigma is given to us as 1. So let's go down and change sigma. If you hear beeping, it just means the power went out. I have a battery backup for Wi-Fi. We'll see how long it lasts. Okay, and we have the sample mean is 0.3. The sample size is only 10. And right here, this line is your alternative claim. So the first one is a two-tailed. The second one is one-tailed left. We want to match the direction of our alternative and make sure you hit enter. So it's the only ones of these 3 selected. And we can do calculate or draw. Let's do calculate first. So just record your Z on the side. We'll do some backup for it in a minute. Record your p-value. And let's go back and do draw. I love draw. Left to test, Z test. The same information is still there. So instead of calculate, we're going to do draw. And it gives us the normal curve. It gives us the Z. So copy this diagram onto your paper. put 0.9487 for the boundary, the left boundary, an arrow to the shaded region, 0.1714, and you'd be labeling this Z sub X bar. Remember, in hypothesis testing, we convert to Z because even if people aren't familiar with the storyline, they can understand that anything outside of 3 or -3 going outside is unlikely to happen by chance variation alone. And you can see just by this area, not so unlikely to happen by chance variation alone. So we'd fail to reject H0. We do not have sufficient evidence to support the claim alternative hypothesis. Sigma sub X bar, sigma over the square root of n. You don't have to actually give it to me in decimal form, but list the general and the substitutions. Let's look at the key. Let me get my picture out of the way here. Okay. So here's your formula. I should have a little equal sign there. Let me add it in really quickly. Equals. Okay. List your Z formula and your substitutions. And right here, let me go back. I don't know why I didn't type that in. We should list our Z of 0.9487. I'll make it a little smaller. Go. I've justified this Z that the calculator generated by having my Z formula and the substitutions. That's a 1 right here, 1 over the square root of 10. I did not have to do any arithmetic. My sketch came from the calculator. I had to remember to label the horizontal axis Z sub X bar. If this was chapter 9 investigation, we wouldn't have gone to Z, but because it's embedded into a hypothesis test, we go to Z. It's likely enough for this to happen by chance variation alone. Therefore, if we were to write a decision, we would say, fail to reject H0. We do not have sufficient evidence to support the alternative claim. Okay, so now we're going to redo this and use a different X bar. So stat, test, 1, everything is the same. So we're getting a more extreme sample mean in the alternative realm. Okay, we go down to draw. The calculate gives us the same thing, although it does reiterate a couple other things. Okay, so you can see here, when we make our sketch, we'll put the Z way out on the tail, 3.2255. We still label this Z sub X bar, and we point to the right of our Z and label it essentially 0. Remember, this reads -4.0 times times 10 to the 6. Okay. Not, oh my gosh, I read that backwards. Whoops. I was like, that did not sound right. Another senior moment by Perlman. 6.0 times 10 to the -4th. And then I was like picturing a negative number, moving my decimal point all crazy directions, 0.0006. Sorry about that. Reject H0. We do have sufficient evidence to support alternative claim. mu is greater than 0 in this case. And probably intuitively, you could have seen that. Now, if I wanted to do calculator commands for the p-value, which we will not have to do unless something crazy happens or there's just one little piece of a problem, it would be just like chapter 9. Okay. Let's add in all the backup work for the last part. So we would have, I'm in the wrong pen. Okay, here we go. Z equals X bar minus mu naught. We're in a sampling distribution over sigma over the square root of n. So we have our 1 point, I think it was 0.3 minus 1 over minus 0. This is mu naught, and this guy is x bar over 1 over the square root of 10. And that gave us our 3 point, I can't remember because I can't look at both screens right now. I probably can, but don't know how to do it. I'm at home. But I did figure out how to share my iPad. So that is a total plus. Then to justify our p-value, it's the probability of z being greater than or equal to our z of 3 point blah, you fill in the number, equals 0.0006. And remember, our calculator showed that as 6 times 10 to the negative fourth. But I would expect you to write that out as 0.0006, unless you had a senior moment like I did. Now for our sketch, quickly make your normal curve, z sub x bar. Right, that should really go down. There we go, a little bit better. Okay, we have our 3 point blah, whatever our z was, and then you point to the area to the right, and you say p is approximately 0. So we have our sketch, we justified our z, and we have our justification of our p-value. And just be sure, let me go back to highlighter. Just be sure to double check that this is the correct entry. Fill in the decimal portion of z in these 3 spots. That is it. We are done with A9.